Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, This Means Life. My name is Sherry. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. I want to say a big shout out to all of my subscribers, especially my new subscribers. Thank you and welcome to the family. So, what is my message for today? I want to talk about the anger you begin to feel once you've relocated. And I know that sounds crazy, right? Now, you have to think that if you have spent a considerable amount of years working, tolling, hustling and bustling, and then it gets to a point now where you're either retired or you decide to relocate somewhere else where, obviously the cost of living is less, it's a slower pace, you know, um, a different environment in terms of you don't have to worry about this daily grind and hustle and bustle. Now, why would that attribute you to becoming angry? I'm going to tell you about my life because, I always talk about my life because I think it's important for us to examine our lives, right? I've been a mother since I was 25 years old. When I became a mother at 25, all I had was a high school diploma. Now, when I was growing up in Brooklyn, I would see a lot of girls younger than me having children, seeing them outside. And when I say younger than me, I mean at the time when I was a teenager. Either girls younger than me or maybe the same age as me having children. And I remember being outside maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the morning coming from the movies, and they would be standing outside with their children. And I was like, wow, it's 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. These kids are crying because they're tired. They want to go home. But the thing is, the mother, she's a kid herself. She wants to enjoy herself, but she has this child. And I said, I would never do that to my children, regardless of the situation, right? So I had my first child at 25. And again, all I had was a high school diploma. And I decided, listen, I'm not going to be one of those type of mothers. I'm going to get myself together. Before my daughter was 1 years old, I was back in college. And by the time I was 35, I had finished both my bachelor's and my master's degree. And as I was finishing my master's degree, I did a little foolish thing. I convinced myself that I was going to have this great relationship with this person, ended up getting pregnant again, and then I had to end up walking away from him because no, I don't think so. So I end up having two children. So, pretty much from the age of 25 until this day, I've been a mother. And as I mentioned, it was a lot of hard work because, imagine having a child and then children and then working full time, going to school, and then the normal everyday hustle and bustle of being an adult and a mother, right? And a parent, right? So you have all of these things on your shoulders, and then you add more things like, a house, a car, more responsibilities. You may start to advance in your jobs, and you have all of this going on. And as I mentioned to you in 2022, I decided I didn't want to do any of that anymore. Like, I'm tired. I even wanted to hang up, my mother cape. Like, and my youngest one is getting ready to go on her own. So I'll be able to hang up that cape. I'm always going to be a mother. But at least in terms of those day to day things, I'm getting ready to get rid of that. Right. But the main idea I wanted to talk about today is, when I got here in 2022, think about coming to an island or just out of America, because I find America to be stressful overall. But you're now in a situation where the hustle and bustle, like I'm not having to get up every morning to get myself together, get in a car and drive to go to some job that I hate and stay there for 8, 9, 10 hours and then come home and then cook, clean, and get up and start that all over again for 5 days out of the week. And the other two, you're still doing stuff, right? So that's just a constant every day, every day. And you're doing this for years. And then you come now and you don't have to do that anymore. And it's quiet. And guess what? because it's quiet. Guess what you're doing? You're thinking. All of a sudden now, your life is flashing in front of you. You're thinking about all of everything, all of the decisions that you made, all of the pain that you've been suppressing because you've been on autopilot all of this time. And then now you're still, and all you have are your thoughts. All you have now are your regrets. All you have now is the depression of thinking, oh my God, look at all of what I've just been through. And like I said, because you've been on autopilot all this time, you haven't even had an opportunity to come to terms with some of the decisions that you made, some of the things that you should have done that you didn't do, some of the things that you did and you're proud of them, but maybe if I went another direction, like it's all of those woulda, coulda, shouldas that come and hit you solid in your face. So, there's a myth that when you move abroad, when you relocate, everything is going to be beautiful, everything is going to be perfect, your life is going to be so different. And there are going to be some aspects of your life, obviously, that are going to change, that are going to be different, that are going to be better. But the thing that I need people to always remember is wherever you go, there you are. There was a song by Teddy Pendergrass back in the day. You can't hide from yourself. Everywhere you go, there you are. And that is so real because somehow we think because we're in a new job, we're in a new relationship, we moved to a new apartment, we moved into a new house, we went to a new country, that everything is going to be perfect. But the thing is, you're bringing the old you with you everywhere you go. Now, you notice that I speak a lot about mental health things, even though, we're talking about, this case and all of these things, because they bring these things up. They trigger things in you. When you look at world events, certain things trigger you. And when you're in the middle of healing, hopefully, because I hope that's what some of you guys are doing, because I think a lot of people, again, are under this false impression that simply moving into something new is going to be the answer to all of their prayers. That is going to be the thing that's going to make your life so much different. But the reality is, as I mentioned, you're just bringing yourself along with you. And until you face your traumas, you're going to keep running into the same problems until you learn how to fix them. And that's the reality of it. I've seen people move from abroad and come to different places, and they, again, you're bringing yourself with you. So you're just doing the same things and you're expecting different results. So long story short, relocating, changing a job, moving to a new place, getting into a new relationship, any of those new things are not going to be the remedy. They're not. The remedy is you taking time to realize what in you needs to change and make sure that you're working on those changes and not looking for something external to be the cure for whatever's going on in your life. Because if you act in that manner, you're going to end up being disappointed.